Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and everybody knows the General Attorney Greg Jackson.
Once again, it's on, Brother Love. Hey, you know how we get this thing started every week, but I think we're going to start off a little bit more special, because I was going to ask, what did you get into this weekend? But you better say the right thing, because we all know what this past weekend was.
Oh, man, absolutely. You think I'm going to go in the doghouse? Hey, he thinks I'm going to go in the doghouse. Man, I did what I was supposed to do this weekend. If I don't do it any other weekend,
you did it this week.
I did it this weekend, and that is, man, made sure that Mother's Day was special. Man, and I made sure I took care of home, but I also made sure I called my mama, and I got a whole bunch of other relatives, man, and close friends that I wanted to make sure that day was also special for them, knowing that I recognize what they go through.
Absolutely.
What about you, man?
I mean, listen, man, the same thing, bro. The same thing. So, dinner and spa treatments and all of the other stuff, man. See,
for those, Greg will go all the way in, not a little bit, all the way. And matter of fact, Greg, man, I had a great time, man, with your mom and dad at the senior prom.
Yeah, they still showing the pictures, man. So apparently y'all was around there taking photos and I was looking.
Hey, but you was doing the best, being the moderator, being the host.
I was trying, man. I did what the popular progressive seniors would let me do.
No, yeah, they let you do whatever you want to do, and you did it good, man. You did a great job.
No, absolutely. But listen, though, all jokes aside, a very special, belated Happy Mother's Day to all of the Let's Talk listeners out there who are moms or who have helped to raise some young folks in your community. Mother's Day is a day to commemorate and to recognize all of the work that women do in our community and for our society. And Brother Love, I'm laying it on thick. Because next month, Brother Love.
I know you want the payback.
Yeah,
you want the payback.
Now.
What they call it, the big payback.
Yeah, listen, you got to give a little to get a little. So I'm laying it on thick because I expect to hear the same types of things come next month for Father's Day. But for this past weekend, Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies who are out there. And Brother Love, for those who don't know.
Go ahead and let them know who they're listening to.
If they don't know right now, they're tuned in to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on Monday night. Brother Love and Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo guaranteed to raise your IQ 10 to 15 points. And on some nights, Brother Love, it even goes up to 20. If you want to be a part of the night show, all you got to do is dial the number. We got to dial the number for all you all out there listening and all you all who are out there watching. 321-483-7002. Again, that's 321-483-7002 to talk to Brother Love and Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo. Brother Love, you know what we got to do? We got to let's get it on.
All right. Hey, man, I just love that intro. Hey, but great, man. I guess first and foremost, man, we need to extend some prayers to one of our team members.
Yeah, to family, man. Brother Armando, they had a loss in the family this past week or this past weekend. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Brother Armando and his family. He is sorely missed when he's not here, but especially when it's having to do with something as sensitive as the loss.
You're right. And talking about friends and family members, want to extend, man, hearty condolence, man, to one of my card playing golf buddies. Brew lost his dad this past week as well. So want to let him know that our hearts and prayers will be with you and your families. And so, man, we're with you.
Absolutely. But listen, tonight, Brother Love, we have a great show. We have some great information. We're going to be talking about topics and issues that touch on things all across these great United States and also here in the state of Florida. But in addition, Brother Love, we have a very special guest who's going to come in and talk to us. As you know, Brother Love and I, we take election season very seriously, so much so that we invite candidates to come in, sit down, talk to Let's Talk Nation so that you can find out more about who these individuals are who are looking to represent and to lead in the community. And tonight, Brother Love, we have a very special guest who's going to join us here shortly by the name of Mr. Austin Arthur. So we're looking very much forward to speaking to Mr. Arthur about himself, about his candidacy, so that Let's Talk Nation can have a great idea of who this young man is.
Well, all right. Hey, well, you know what, Greg? Here's something, man, that Doc and I was kind of going back and forth on this thing, man, and this is on our punch sheet tonight, man, because it's really important. Greg, minimum wage hikes.
Listen, man, I understand you and Doc were talking about this early, and I understand that this has been the topic of discussion for a lot of people here recently. But let's talk nation. And if anyone has been watching Brother Love and myself and Doc Polite for any length of time, you know that we have been talking about this issue for a number of years, and that is, the cry for a hike or an increase in the minimum wage. But I don't think that people really and truly understand what comes with that increase in minimum wage, because if you're going to ask an employer to pay more money to individuals in a minimum wage, what do you think that's going to do to the workforce, Brother Love?
Well, we see what it's doing to the workforce. And Greg, I mean, we were talking about this, when was the Florida ballot for increased minimum wage? Was it a few years ago?
I want to say it was 18, if I remember.
Okay.
2018.
And so we were having this conversation, and Greg, I'm going to take a chapter out of your book. We called this.
Yeah.
We called it from the standpoint of what does it mean? It means companies and businesses will be looking toward automation. And Greg, when you look toward automation, do you know what else you're doing? You're reducing your reliance on HR.
That's right.
You know that comes with it.
Because you know what computers don't do, Brother Love? Computers don't call out sick. Computers don't go out to get drunk and then don't come to work the next day. Computers, they may fall, they may have some issues, but you get somebody in there to fix them, and then they're right back to doing the work, Brother Love.
Yeah, you're right. And so you got that going on.
But listen, though, the other thing too, and we saw it coming, Brother Love, and we were showing people the pictures, the videos, just trying to show people, hey, listen, you're calling for this increase in minimum wage, but guess what's going to happen? People are going to be replaced. So this is what I want people to do. I want you to think back to 5 years ago, brother. I want to think about 5 years ago. You walk into a McDonald's. It's hustling. It's bustling. It's got people in the back. It's got people in the front. You have your cashier. You have all of these people who are employed and working as hard as they possibly can. And I want you to go into a McDonald's right now, Brother Love, and tell me what you see.
Okay, can I do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, because you and I, we were pretty bad, and we got some phone calls from some organizations to ask us to stop doing what we were doing. But we would walk into Sam's. We'd walk into McDonald's.
Go to a CVS.
Yeah. And we'd walk in and take a picture with our phones of the self-service kiosk.
Yeah.
And Sam, man, and I'm not going to mention the location, but at one point in time, they had like 20 checkouts. And all of them were manned by a person.
Right,
now
right.
we have about
3. No, not even 10. Go into a Publix right now, and you'll see 5 or 6 lanes and 2 people that are actually at cash registers, and the rest are self-checkout lines. Doc Polite, I see the pearly whites, man. What you got, man?
Boy, hey, listen, it's funny watching this. Now, I'm pro-labor.
We called it.
Hey, no, but I'm saying we all predicted this foolishness was gonna bear fruit. Now we're at it. What was that, Rod, I shared with you the other day, the automation? What place was that?
Yeah. It was a video. I think it was a TikTok. Somebody pulled up at the fast food drive-through,
right?
And you could tell this was AI that was taking the order.
Yeah,
AI.
And so Checkers has that. Then to beat that, I went into Walmart the other day, and Walmart now has an exclusive line for Walmart Plus customers. Everybody else is basically on their own.
But do you have to pay for that Plus?
Yes. You have to be a Plus customer. That means that's sort of like a Prime member.
Hey, Doc, here's something, and we did call this.
Right.
But here's something that I'm going to say me, and not Greg and not Doc Polite. One of the things that I said was there was one grocery store that would not basically succumb to those check out yourself lines. And that grocery store that I said would not do it because their customer service is great. People go to this grocery store because of the customer service. And that turned out to be Publix.
And now what you looking like?
Yeah.
Now wait. Hey, Doc Polite, what type of is it? You got farm fresh or you got cage-free egg on your face? Because Publix, Publix is definitely using.
Hey, it look like free range chicken egg, free range egg on his face. But they definitely got it. But
I'll take that. I
can tell you
but listen though, think about how customer service has been replaced, how humans have been replaced in customer service by AI. When you call a number now, I dare say 75% of that call is handled by AI
You're
before
right.
you can
You're
get
right.
to a person, if at all.
Right. And a lot of this, I mean, the ones that are not set up on AI, a lot of that customer service stuff is being done in other countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's because of the labor costs, which we need to go ahead and delve into. Because, Greg, I know you've been paying attention to what's taking place in California now.
Yeah. Yeah. Don Play, what you got on that?
Man, we were talking earlier about the California stuff. I know you got the numbers on it, but I will say this. They are going to show us what not to do, because I guarantee you it will wreck their economy. There's going to be a trickle-down effect that it's going to impact business taxes, because businesses are going to go out, going to fail. Okay? You cannot take entry-level jobs and pay that amount of money for it. It's just the labor market will not bear that.
What something Greg coined 3-4 years ago, when, and I'm gonna let you do this, Greg, because you did it 3 or 4 years ago when you talked about what minimum wage was not intended for.
Listen, minimum wage was not intended to be a living wage. It was not intended for individuals who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s to make a living. It was intended for young people just get into the workforce so that they can make a minimum wage to start getting on their feet. But now people are using minimum wage as a way of having supplying and supporting families, and it just wasn't meant to be that. And Doc, to your point, in California, for those who haven't heard the story, in California, right now, the fast food workers, their minimum wage is now $20 an hour.
That equates to annually $41,200 a year.
Yeah. Who would have thought that in any day and age that fast food workers would be making $20 an hour?
Nobody, but it goes back to this point, Greg, and I haven't heard anybody articulate this. What has government done to the job market?
Yeah.
I mean, with government inserting itself into private capitalization, if you would, now
forcing them to pay more.
So now what is that doing to the private sector?
Hey, listen, it's forcing the private sector to do what private sectors do, pass on the cost to consumers. And not only passing on the cost to consumers, because listen, if they're having to pay these individuals $20 an hour, guess what's going to happen to the food costs? The food costs are going to go up. But in addition to that, guess what's going to happen to the labor force? The labor force is going to go down, because if you're going to have to pay 10 individuals $10 an hour, that's $200 an hour. Why don't you cut that down to 5 people that's working? That's $100 an hour. You get you a couple of kiosks. That's not going to
look at how you invest in kiosks.
And that's what's going to happen. The workforce is going to continue to decline, as we've seen in other parts of
something else that has happened that nobody. I mean, the exact same thing that you're talking about taking place has taken place, but something else.
And to your point about the fast food workers, the other week I went to Five Guys. How much you think it costs for 2 hamburgers?
Well, that's where I'm going.
2 fries,
the food cost is rich.
and 2 drinks.
So now I think it would have run you anywhere between $25 and $30.
It was $35.
Yeah. And listen, the fact that I'm not shocked should tell you something.
And the other day I stopped at Popeyes on the way back from Orlando.
Popeyes always been expensive. Hey,
and got 3 wings and a biscuit. How much you think that was?
Oh, how many wings? 3?
Yeah.
And a biscuit?
Yeah.
$12.
And Popeyes, like, he got like $9-10.
Yeah, $10 and some change.
Hey, but think, Doc, you could go to the grocery store.
No, you can't.
You're right. Because wings,
hey, let me stop you right there. No, you can't.
Hey, but Greg, come on, man. For about $9-10, let me go buy some chicken.
Listen, for $9-10 in the grocery store. Hey, look, because food costs in the grocery stores are getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I devil dog dare somebody to go to a grocery store with $10 and think you're gonna come out with anything other than you might not even be able to get bologna with your bread with $10 in a grocery store.
Of what do you call that pack of about 12 or 14 wings? You know how they have them on a little tray?
Yeah.
That pack costs about $18.
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm telling you, food costs right now are astronomical.
And why?
Because you got to do something when you're looking at how inflated your labor costs are now. How else can you do? I mean, businesses are actually closing up.
Yeah, and a lot of restaurants.
So what are we going to do with all those unemployed people?
But I'm not.
What are we going to do with all those unemployed people? That's the next question.
Listen, you know what's going to happen, Doc. It's just going to be like, as much as I hate to say it, as much as I hate to forecast this, it's going to become like any third world nation or any other country where individuals, a high number of individuals, are living at the expense of the government because they cannot find work. And the individuals who are putting into the tax system or to the tax base are going to be paying more.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
That's what's going to happen.
And so, Rick, when you say that now, I think you need to back that up from the standpoint of people saying, okay, what else can government do to increase what we're paying the government? Property taxes is one of them.
Yeah.
When you look at permitting, when you look at rent, I mean, even driver's license fees. I mean, you don't realize the extent that government is going to shift to look at how does it, recoup revenue in other areas.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, let me tell you this. When I came to the show today, I was on a high note. Now y'all got me all depressed. Now I gotta go home. Now I gotta go drink me a little bit,
Don't go home and kick the dog,
a little bit of tequila, because now I'm all depressed.
Okay,
but y'all got me thinking about this.
But Greg, I don't want you to be depressed because here's the other part that we haven't articulated, and that is this.
Uh-huh.
That's a good reason to do research on who you elected.
That is a perfect. But look at you. Look at him. You got that segue going. Okay, I got you.
Nice segue.
Hey, he been on me for like what? How many years about coming up with good segues?
Hey, you got an attaboy.
But no, you're absolutely right, though, Brother Love. The way that we can address these issues is by looking at who's in office at this point in time, what their thoughts are, what their goals are in terms of addressing these issues, and we have to make sure that those individuals align with how we feel and how we think, because if you get and Doc, tell me if I'm wrong in this, but if you get individuals who are in this millennial generation, they view this issue way differently than we do, because they think that the government should be taking care of people. Whereas you have folks in our generation who feel like, listen, you got to work, you got to do it for yourself, because if you don't do it, then someone else is going to pay for it, and you're going to pay for it, and someone else is going to benefit from it.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
The difference is the generational mindset of participation. You got a whole generation of people now raised in the education system that were given passes. Everything was there were rewards for everybody.
Yeah.
And hard work is no longer a separator of talent. Everyone is given equal opportunity, and it just can't go that way.
I mean, yeah, you know what, Doc, you're right, because we talked about the participation trophies that everybody was given.
Right.
That everybody gets a trophy just because they showed up, and not that only the people who excelled and worked the hardest were the ones who were recognized for the work that they did.
Right. So why, and that's what I was saying to Rod earlier before we came on the air. You cut your workforce down. You have a job that or an assembly line that required 10 people when you started out. Because of the cost of labor, you now have cut that down to 5.
Yeah.
And those people are doing double the work. That's reverse incentivism, and they're not going to raise up to the level. It's going to discourage them, because think about working in the workplace and you're that person that overperforms because you perform based on your ethics, your work ethic, right? And everybody else around you is kind of slack off, and you've been carrying that. And most of the time, those people, they just get sick and tired and they leave.
But you know what? What about this other trend that there's some research out on it now that's saying men are retreating from the workforce like never before? And I kind of go back to the question you asked, Greg. What are they doing?
See, we about to have a whole nother conversation that listen, let's save that one. That's a whole nother story right there.
That's another whole show.
That's a whole nother show. On top of it. We
Yeah.
know what they're doing. They're going to
Yeah.
work for themselves. Think about this. If you find yourself struggling, right? Wouldn't you want to struggle on your own terms? If you're going to struggle, if I'm going to struggle to have a job and it still does not meet my needs, and I feel that I have the aptitude to go out and create a different opportunity for myself and benefit 100%, if you are certain of your talents, you're going to take that and go. But again, part of that phenomenon as well, Greg, is the generational participation trophy. You got 40-year-olds living.
I don't understand.
You got 40-year-olds living with their moms.
But think about this. Yeah, you're right. But that trend, Doc, is directly attributed to the fact that housing costs have gone through the ceiling, literally, to the extent that younger population of individuals, when you could come out and get yourself a starter house, the price on a starter house now is unbelievable when you compare it to salary.
But now that's a whole nother issue, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling y'all trying to see y'all baiting me. I see what y'all doing. Y'all trying to get me to go down this road. I'm trying to tell y'all tonight is not that night.
Tonight is not. Hey,
It's
this
a whole.
go
nother-
ahead.
whole
Go
nother
ahead.
issue.
Let it loose.
This could be the promo,
Hey.
but I got time tonight.
I'm
Hey,
telling you,
take them Tallahassee bro games off and kick it. Go
I'm
ahead.
telling you, listen. I got restraint tonight.
Hey,
man.
we got a guest.
We got a guest.
We
in
got
the
a guest
house
in the
tonight, man.
studio
I'm
tonight.
not gonna do it tonight. man.
All right,
Listen,
all right.
When I get started on that one, oh boy. But listen, but that topic though.
Yeah.
Males leaving the workforce.
Mhm.
The participation trophies are where we seeing society going right now, man. That is something that we've been talking about for years on top of years, and we're going to continue to have that conversation because the times that we were talking about are on our doorstep.
Yeah.
And people need to be prepared and ready for what's coming down the pipe. But again, Brother Love, to your point, one of the ways that we address those things is look at who do we have in elected office. And tonight we have a gentleman who we're going to be talking to who's going to share with us what it is that he's doing, his position, his role, why he has decided to put himself in the in the limelight or in the way of individuals to determine him serving in an elected official capacity. But before we get to that, Brother Love, Orlando City Commission election.
Early voting started when, Greg?
Early voting started today in Orlando for the District 5 Orlando City Commission race. The actual election is going to be on the 21st of this month, which is next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a couple of debates not too long ago. But
about three.
Yes, and so there were two last week. The last one that I saw, I think, has resulted in an endorsement to one of the candidates by the
Orlando Sentinel.
Mm-hmm. And so, it's going to be interesting to watch. We're going to stay on top of that as well, and we're going to see what happens, brother.
Okay. So Greg, if we're to say that, and who's leading the pack right now?
Who knows? I can tell you who has endorsements, but I can't tell you who's leading the pack because
And
at the end of the day,
yeah.
Two things that a good friend of mine taught me, Miss Earlene Watkins, who's been around elections for 50 years. And one of the things that she told me, she said, Greg, she says, votes are not transferable. Mm-hmm. And she said, signs don't vote. That's one thing she taught me. But if we talk about endorsements, there's also the curse of certain endorsements to certain people. Mm-hmm. And so, if we're looking at endorsements, some people have gotten some good endorsements from the community. Some have gotten some from the Orlando Sentinel. But at the end of the day, Brother Love, it's going to be up to those individuals who live in that district who make that decision. And the concerning thing about that, Brother Love, is that district has historically underperformed when it comes time to elections. It doesn't matter if it is a general election for president or a special election such as this. That particular district or this particular district has unfortunately underperformed. And I'm telling you, I think that it's going to, the person who walks away from this race is going to win with about 1,000 votes.
Low turnout. But you know what, Greg, and I'll say this because I know we need to keep moving, but a good friend of yours and mine has shown us time and time again retail politics.
Right.
And that retail politics by knocking on doors.
Going to those doors. You got to be at the doors, man. You have to be at the doors. And the friend you're talking about.
Oh, Mayor Brian Nelson.
None other than the Mayor Brian Nelson. Yeah. And listen, he was and is known for touching doors at least 3 times.
Yes.
and you have to do that. And so, you know, if you're going to do it, if you're going to get your 1,000, 1,500 people to win this race in District 5, if you're not touching the doors, you're not serious.
And Greg, that's how I believe you earn people's vote.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you, because I know somebody who touches those doors. There's a couple of people I know that touch doors. That's why I'm maintaining who I think is going to be up in this race. I'm not gonna say it now because it's too close.
Gotcha.
And you know how we have influenced elections before, brother.
Okay.
We don't want to put our hands on the scales of the District 5 election, and then we get sideways with other people because I've already said it. I'm not gonna say it anymore. But when the election's done, Brother Love is gonna say whether or not I was right or wrong. Now, you know the other thing too. You're hearing the buzz that's going on right now too.
Which buzz?
About Donald Trump and who he's thinking about as his running mate.
Yeah, man.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
A person that was running against
Who?
Nick. South Carolina.
You said it. You
yeah.
said it.
Yeah.
Nikki
Nikki
Haley.
Haley. Yeah.
Who did I say?
You said her. I'm gonna give it to you. Hey, and it came out. What was it this weekend? That
I said, and listen, I said it when they were in the thick of disagreement. Didn't I tell you that?
You
They
said
were in the thick
Hey,
of disagreement.
See, Greg will remember what he said in time and go back, and he'll let you know you heard it here first. So yeah, I'll give it up to you. But Greg, I want to hear something else from you.
What you got, man?
I want to hear about this $238
Nah,
million.
man, you ain't gonna talk about my school like that.
Oh man, we got to talk about that.
But no, you're right though, brother. So recently, the greatest school on the highest of 7 hills, greater than any HBCU in these United States, and I'm putting that in front of Howard, Tuskegee, anyone else you want to name. This is Florida A&M University, the greatest of HBCUs. I think we almost got. I'm just gonna tell the truth. So a gentleman by the name of Gregory, don't hold that against me. Yeah,
okay.
Germany, I think it was. He was speaking at Florida A&M University, and he announced during this speech or whatever it was.
Is because the other part of it is not only the $238 million,
Right.
but supposedly another $61 million. But Greg, this
Over
guy,
10 years. Yeah,
over 10 years.
yeah.
But Greg, this guy doesn't have what do you call it?
No one knows who he is.
Footprint on anything.
Whoa. He has one track record, Brother Love. And this is what concerned the university trustees for Florida A&M University. And I am proud that these individuals were not enamored by this significant amount of money. But the one consistent thing that he has is that he offered the same type of deal to another school.
Mm-hmm.
And the money never came through.
$95 million.
The money never came through. And so his track record is he'll stand there and he'll pound his chest and he'll do all of these grand things, but the money doesn't come through.
Hey, Greg, this same individual had a GoFundMe. And see, I don't want to. Some of the things we're talking about are the same things that individuals should have done their due diligence on.
Yeah.
They should have raised the flag.
That's right. But here's the more interesting thing that needs to be discussed that HBCUs or that the education system needs to get a better handle of, I think. When you compare HBCUs to Ivy League universities, all right, Ivy League universities in 2019, foundations gifted them $5.5 billion in 2019. Over the 99 or over the 90 plus HBCUs, Brother Love, how much do you think was gifted to the collective of 90 or so HBCUs in 2019? Go.
Collectively,
200
million.
$45 million collectively
off.
was given to 90 HBCUs. And so a better job has to be done by the attendees of HBCUs, myself included, to seed more into our universities. Now, I know that a lot of times the individuals who go to the Ivy League schools, they go out to get the jobs and they become the millionaires, the billionaires, whatever the case may be. But HBCUs, we still have a proud history, and we still have those individuals who can give and should give, as I said, myself included. And so I want to see HBCUs do a better job with seeding into our alma maters. And so this was a cautionary tale of, we almost fell hook, line, and sinker for the
But y'all fell for it. Y'all
No,
just
we
put-
didn't. No. The president fell for it. The university trustees said, "Wait, hold on. This don't even sound right."
But one university trustee who is the vice chair, and I'm happy that we've known him for years, and that was Deveron Gibbons, that basically said, "Hold up, we didn't even know about this."
Right.
Number one, but then number two, you guys signed a non-disclosure that you couldn't tell us about.
Yeah,
this?
whatever. Try again. And I'm telling you, thank you to the FAMU University trustees for catching this and keeping everything on the up and up. But Brother Love, we have to
Take a break.
We got to get this young man in because he is a very interesting person that we want to get a chance, and we want Let's Talk Nation to get a chance to know too. So listen, don't go anywhere. We want you to come back, because coming up next, we're going to be speaking to Mr. Austin Arthur.
We'll be right back.
They break, I fix. Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Jaguars and Porsche. Joe's Quality Auto Repair. I specialize in European cars. They break, I fix at Joe's European Quality Auto Repair. Located at 1240 State Road 436 in Altamont Springs. They break, I fix. Call me, mention Let's Talk Nation and bring your certified dealership repair quote. And I beat by 30%. Remember, they break, I fix. Call me at Joe's European Quality Auto Repair at 407-409-6040. Again, 407-409-6040. After they break, I fix. Joe's European Quality Auto Repair.
Hey, welcome back to Let's Talk Nation. And Greg led us up to this, and the audience was sitting back saying, because Greg, you gave the name already, so you didn't keep him on that cliffhanger like you normally do.
No, man, I couldn't do it. Listen, because I know he told all his friends, all the people who go to church, and listen, I'm going to be on the show, so we had to confirm before he got here that he was here.
That he was here. He was here. But you know what, man? Here's a guy who is, just an incredible person, incredible human being. And, man, we open our platform up to individuals so the audience, so constituents can get to know you, know what you're about, and basically ask those questions. And so, Greg, I'm going to do the alley-oop so that you can go ahead and dunk this thing. But we have in the studio with us
Mr. Ashton Arthur. But listen, so this is something that, and I went through and I read your bio. I went to your website. You and I, we haven't had a chance to formally meet. I think we just kind of like talk. We know some mutual friends. And as I'm reading through your bio, you have a very intriguing background. And so, Brother Love, as I'm reading it, I'm thinking to myself, I think we're getting pranked. I think we're getting pranked. Literally, I think we're getting pranked, because I'm reading who this gentleman is, what he's about, and I'm like, why is he running for a county commission seat? Because the person that I'm reading here, this story, these issues, the things that he's involved in, reads much bigger than the station that he's looking for. And so that was my informal introduction to Mr. Arthur. But since I have him here now, I'm going to ask him the question that I was dying to ask him when I was reading your bio. Why Orange County Commission? Why now?
Because the current commissioner, and we need a new commissioner, that's why. So I'm very involved in the community, as you alluded to. I'm on the board for the West Orange Habitat for Humanity, Challenge 22 to End Veteran Suicide, 8 Ways Children and Family Services is an organization that works in East Winter Garden, primarily our under-resourced community there, minority community. And in that, you work a lot with local governments in those sorts of organizations. And I had just tremendous success working with our municipalities, Winter Garden, Ocoee, Oakland, Windermere, even Apopka. And but when it came to the county, it was just a much different experience. It was a lot of bureaucracy, for one thing, a lot of red tape, always hard to get anybody on the phone, including the one person that's supposed to be available, and that's our commissioner. And it just became quite frustrating. Many things occurred. And so my goal was not to run for office. My goal was to find somebody to run for office, to be our next Orange County commissioner. So my brother and I own a marketing firm in West Orange County. So I was essentially trying to bribe all my friends. Listen, run for this seat. I got your back. We'll do it all in-kind contribution for the website, the videos. We'll do it all. It's free for you. We just need a new commissioner. You got to run. And so the finger kept on kind of getting pointed back to me. Well, why don't you do it? And then, I'm a firefighter paramedic originally. And so it's paramilitary. And when you identify a problem and you want to complain about it, that means it's your job to be the solution. So that was kind of being thrown in my face. And so I talked to my wife my brother, who's my best friend and my business partner, my pastor, and my widowed mother. And that's kind of like my board of directors for my life.
The kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, correct. And they all felt that this is what I should be doing and that it is correct.
Well, you know the old saying,
Yes.
if not me, who? If
Right,
not
sure.
now, when? And that sounds like the calling that was placed to you when you said, hey, would you do this? And they said, well, hey, listen, if not you, who? But let's talk a little bit more about.
Hey, but you know, he mentioned the wife. He didn't mention the kids. You
No,
gotta
listen,
give some credits to this.
I don't ask the kids. I tell the kids.
Yeah. That's a
Okay,
whole
there you
other
go.
I'm a
There you go.
traditionalist.
There you
Let's
go.
be clear.
I just wanted to bring in the kids aspect that
But
as
yes.
a wife and kids.
Right.
Yes, we have 3 kids, exactly.
But let's get a chance to know Austin. All right. High school dropout.
Yeah.
How did that experience lead you to where you are right now?
I think that certain people just aren't good for traditional education. I really believe that. I've always believed that. And I really didn't like school. And I hope my kids don't watch this video. But it's true. I never enjoyed it. My mind was always somewhere else. The truth is, in math class when I was in middle school, you had the old Walkman. And I had a Walkman. I had a long sleeve shirt. And I had this radio earbud. And it'd be in math class. And I'd be listening to talk radio all day during math class. So my mind was always somewhere else. I always wanted to do business or be a successful musician. I joined a band. I just wanted to do something else. I just was never good with traditional education. So what I finally did actually is I convinced my parents by making this big presentation about why homeschool is far better. So this, I had to go to the library. There's no Wikipedia back then.
Right. Yeah.
I had to go to the library, study statistics, and bring all these statistics. This is why you should homeschool me. I had a 5-point plan. It was beautiful. I finally convinced them. Then part 2, that was plan A, now plan B.
Yeah.
So this is why you should allow me to get my GED. Because this homeschool thing is really just a waste of time. I could be in the workforce right now. I could be learning a trade. And so then eventually they just, I think, really just got annoyed with me enough and let me get my GED.
So you weren't a high school dropout.
Well, I got my GED.
But
Yeah,
no, listen. When you hear that, you think about
The disconnect from
right.
education.
But
Sure.
you had a plan.
Yeah.
I did.
You
Yeah,
thought
actually,
you
I
had a
did. Yeah.
plan. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Now you traveled with a band.
I did.
What instrument? What do you play?
The drums.
Really?
Yes.
So listen.
We should have had that audition here, man.
Quietly, everybody wants to be a drummer. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I agree.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants to be a drummer.
I
I mean,
agree.
people, they do the guitar thing,
Yeah.
but everybody wants to
Yeah.
be in the
Hey,
pocket.
I can tell you.
Hey, everybody wants to be in the pocket.
Yeah.
I can tell you know how to play little drums.
So how long did you do that?
Oh, I don't know. Long time. I mean, 12 years maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not really too sure exactly, but probably when I was like 13 or 14, I got my first kit. Another convincing job I had to do on my mom, try to convince her why I should be able to have a drum set in the house. Drove her nuts, but did it. And then I realized that at some point I had to grow up, and the band thing wasn't going to be my career.
Yeah.
So I
now,
went
now,
to-
do you still pick up the stick from time to time?
Every once in a while, I just don't have any time.
Yeah.
So the little time I have left, I dedicate that to the kids and wife.
There you go. There you
And
go.
so, but I basically realized that the band thing's not working out. We toured across the country. I got in plenty of trouble. It wasn't a good thing. And so I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I want to be like you. He was an entrepreneur. He was a firefighter, paramedic, but also an entrepreneur, amazing human being. I want to be an entrepreneur, Dad. He's like, well, that's great, son, and a job. So why don't you go get a real job like a man? And then maybe if you work hard and you have a product or service that people like, and you get some luck along the way, then maybe you could do this entrepreneur thing.
Yeah.
So I followed his lead and I became a firefighter, paramedic. And my brother and I started our first business together, a marketing firm, which is still here in West Orange County next to the West Orange Chamber of Commerce. We eventually opened up our first gymnastics center. And I know that sounds left field, but that was always a passion of us. We were gymnasts growing up. My parents met through gymnastics.
Nice.
So my brother and I always knew we wanted to do
But
that.
you guys own one of the largest.
It is the largest gymnastics center in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So
So
the
now-
rest is history on that one.
So now, the love of your life.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I lived my life thinking I'm always the smartest person, and that was true until I met my wife.
Okay.
And so I met her. She came on board to work with the gym, and she was running the gymnastics center for years before we started having all these crazy babies everywhere. And we decided as a family that for us it was best for her to stay home and raise the kids and really do the hard job. And that's what she's doing today. And she's just a tremendous thing in my life. And she's made me a better person. And I love her. I couldn't be doing this without her, and I'd be a much worse person without her as well. So I recognize that.
So let me ask this question: what is your platform?
Mm.
You know, focus, because our audience want to hear about what candidates are focusing on. What are some of the things that you want to prioritize in doing?
Well, in our side of the county, so we're the west side of the county. So if you kind of think of it from even Williamsburg, Hunters Creek, Dr. Phillips, Windermere, Winter Garden, Gotha, even Oakland and all of Horizon West, everything that's really the west side, southwest side of the county, below Ocoee and Apopka. The biggest concern I hear from residents, I was peeking a little bit on my ear on the door. You're talking about knocking on doors.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm knocking on those doors, it's really just three things they're saying. They're saying infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure.
Yeah.
People, especially on the west side, are very upset about the infrastructure crisis we have, and that we seem to be deprioritizing infrastructure in a way that continually has us playing a game of catch up. And that just doesn't work. So that needs to change. So that really is probably the biggest focus for me in this district is infrastructure. Now, remembering that with Orange County Commission, a lot of the very important issues that we all care about and have different opinions on, abortion, gun rights, all these things, that has nothing to do with Orange County Commission.
Right.
So when I say infrastructure is the biggest deal for the commission, that's because what's pertinent to the job.
Mhm.
So I don't get distracted with things that aren't pertinent to the job.
Right.
But obviously, we also have a homeless crisis in Orange County that needs to be addressed more appropriately. And we have a housing crisis, which is closely tied to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so the solutions that you will find on those things are not coming forward through the Board of County Commissioners. For example, the housing crisis, obviously it's a supply and demand issue.
Right.
So you need more units on the market to bring more supply and to also bring down those prices. That's how you fix it. It's just simple economics. So we need to make sure we have that. And one of the other things I will say is we need to be making sure that our residents can afford to live here, and not only be by making prices better in the county, but also by making sure that we have good paying jobs. And the way you do that is not by artificially doing so with the government. It's by making sure that we have a pro-business atmosphere so that you have good businesses that want to do business in Orange County. And then you will see that the rates become competitive, and these businesses will try to get the best paying jobs for the best people. So that's the kind of the mentality I think we have. We have a very anti-business Board of County Commissioners right now in the aggregate. And I think that needs to change because the people suffer with that. Because then they can't get good paying jobs, because the good paying jobs, they don't want to come to Orange County.
So once again, you are listening to Let's Talk Nation. Tonight, our very special guest is Austin Arthur, who is a candidate for Orange County Commission District 1, having a very pointed conversation about issues in the community. And we were just talking about this. And Let's Talk Nation heard us talking about this is what do we do about the lack of opportunities, job opportunities in our communities? And it comes down to the thought process of the individuals who are in leadership, i.e. our elected officials.
Correct. 100%. And like I say, I think that it is true that probably the most immediate thing that the Orange County Board of County Commissioners can be doing is making sure that we're pro-business again, that we're friendly to businesses, that we're attracting good businesses, because that'll bring good paying jobs. And then right now you'll find that, and I'll give you an example. I have a friend that opened a bakery in Horizon West. That's that big master plan community in Orange County, beautiful area. And so they opened this franchise bakery, 2,500,000 square feet, only 2,500, and it's a cookie cutter franchise build out.
Okay.
Well, that permit took them 9 months to get with Orange County. Now, let me tell you what happened in the same time period of 9 months in Lake County. They built a 150,000 square foot Costco. That was up and built before they could even get their permit for their little cookie cutter bakery. So that's a crisis. That's a business crisis. So those are jobs. They have 24 employees there, good paying jobs, starting $20 an hour, and they almost left Orange County. So that's what's happening constantly. And in Horizon West, people are wondering why we're not getting restaurants, why we're not getting gas stations. Well, because it's a terrible place to do business in Orange County, because there's so much bureaucracy, and you don't have a commissioner who's helping to prioritize the businesses that we want. We want businesses that will bring good paying jobs. And that's the job of the commissioner, to be the liaison to help make that possible.
Yeah. Now, Brother Love, hearing what Brother Arthur is saying, and you haven't sat in that position before, how much of that, of what commissioners do or think they cannot do, is a function of staff?
What I would say is staff, they're there to follow directions. One of the things that you do in that capacity, and yes, I was in that capacity for about a year. And it is basically the leadership of that commission that basically tell staff, here's what you need to do with the business. I mean, yeah, we're talking about codes and permits and things of that nature, but one of your jobs is to help cut back on the level of bureaucracy. And so when you talk about being in that commission seat, you're talking about a position of advocacy.
Mhm.
And that advocacy can be aggressive too.
So what I'm hearing, or what I think I'm hearing, and I think Let's Talk Nation is hearing the same thing, is that a commissioner in that seat to be effective has to be able to advocate, even in light of what staff may be saying, to possibly shorten the length of time to get permits or shorten the length of time to do things. Instead of just going with what staff may say sometimes, they have to be able to look at what the community needs in order to move things forward for their specific area.
100% correct. And I'll give you an example that's happening in our district right now. So we talked about the infrastructure crisis. A lot of the problems with the traffic in the west side is you don't have enough connectivity between Lake County and Orange County because that's right there on the border. So you have to go to 192 or to US or to West Colonial Drive to get between the two counties. So there's a lot of potential avenues to where you can open up different vessels to let that traffic breathe a little bit with non-tax road, and including one such road called Fleming's Road. And if you go to Fleming's Road, it's a perfect connector potential. And if you look at the end of that road, you'll find 100 feet away is a Lake County road, 100 feet away. And that will bring tremendous alleviating pressure off of that road system, and it's a toll-free road. So I go to Orange County's website and I ask what's going on, and they said, yeah, we're going to connect it. Lake County's already done their part. We're going to connect it. 2 years. 2 years for a 100-foot road. Brother Love and I could get a six-pack and be done by happy hour. Okay, we could just take care of that very easy. So that to me is a problem, not really of staff, but you don't have the leadership in place to say, hey, listen, guys, this is a priority.
Yeah.
You know, we need to get this done in one afternoon and knock it out because we need pressure release now, not 2 years from now.
Now,
So that's a prime example.
So now,
of,
brother, brother Arthur must have felt these manicured hands and knew that brother Jack and digging up nothing with y'all.
No,
So y'all gonna be doing that before happy hour. I'll be sitting there with these manicured
I
hands.
just figured you had more important things to do. That's all.
hey, Greg goes around and does those one-arm push-ups. Hey, but Austin, let me ask you about public safety, which is something that is on everybody's mind as well. What's your position on public safety in Orange County?
So I believe that so as you know, with the commission, what they do is they fund the sheriff's office. So during those conversations, when they're looking at the budget, you need to make sure that you're having a good partnership mentality with Sheriff Mina, who does a great job, and to make sure that the sectors are all matching and in place. Because for one thing, I'll tell you, Pine Hills was sharing a division with Horizon West, and that's just totally different places. And that was creating so many long times for response times. And again, who are people calling? Well, they're not calling Sheriff Mina. He's not the representative for that.
That's right.
They're calling the commissioner. So the commissioner needs to be able to communicate well and to prioritize once again in partnership with the sheriff's office, because the commissioners don't run the sheriff's office. You know, they're working in partnership. They make sure that their budget is secure. So if you have a problem during budget time is when you really have some muscle to say, hey, look, we need to do X, Y, Z. But really, it's about working in partnership with the sheriff's office. And that's how you get it done, by being that liaison. Once again, that's the biggest role of a commissioner in my eyes, is being a liaison to the people for all these different aspects of our government.
You know, we appreciate you being here. One other thing, because leading up to this show, Greg and I was getting texts saying, hey, what about this? What about that? One of the other items was, what's your thoughts about how critical mental health services are in Orange County?
Very critical. So I serve on the board I chair the board Challenge 22 to end veteran suicide. So mental health to me is a very serious thing. And it's a shame when people deprioritize mental health, because that's a big part of the reason why we have a homelessness crisis as well. It's one of the prongs. It's not the only reason. It's not true that anybody who's homeless has a mental health problem or is addicted. Some people just have fallen on hard times and they just can't afford the rent anymore. So there's many reasons. But I think that it's critical for a local government to focus on that, because that's where you're going to have the closest connection to these people, to these individuals, to know the issues, where the issues are. It's great to get funding from the state government and from the federal government on those things, and we'll take all the funding we could get to get taxpayer dollars back home. But in reality, the local government needs to be the one that's spearheading these initiatives, because they're closer to the people.
So, Brother Arthur, day one, let's say the election happens. And by the way, when is the election? So the folks will know. When is the election?
Well, I love that you just asked me a trick question. And the reason it's a trick question is because we don't technically know the way Orange County works. It's a little bit wonky. In the commissioner seats, if there are 3 or more candidates, then it is an August election. But if there's only 2 candidates, then it's a November election.
Gotcha.
So that's decided. It's closing. The qualification period is closing June 10th. So then we'll know if it's August or November. I just tell people, listen, plan for August. I'll prep for November. Don't be going out of town in August. You know, get your mail-in ballot if you got to, but we need to procure these votes.
So, well, speaking of qualifying, there's 2 ways a candidate can qualify.
Yes.
So please tell our audience what it is.
Yeah, it's true. And most people will often just pay the fee. There's a large fee. It's like $4,000. And I believe in being fiscally responsible, especially with people's money. Everybody has a role in a campaign. It's not just the candidate. They're just the ones doing that part. It's also the residents that believe in this movement that are pitching in. And a lot of people pitch in financially. Some people pitch in volunteerism. Some people do all of it. So with that, I want to be responsible with dollars. So for me, from day one, I knew I wanted to qualify by petition to save those donor dollars. Because in our campaign, we have people that are donating for the first time in their life, $5, $10. We have anything from a $5 donation to a $1,000 donation. We have the whole spectrum. And so we want to be responsible with those dollars. So we wanted to do it by petition. However,
but before you leave out, my colleague sit to my left because see, we like to break things down over here. So Greg, tell people what qualifying by petition means.
Basically, qualifying by petition means that you are either going door to door, you're getting out into the community in an area where specifically voters from that district are able to sign a petition saying that that they don't mind or they want your name on the ballot. And so you have to get a certain number of petitions in order to qualify by petition. And that's a lot of work, Brother Love. That means going door to door. That means going to community events. That means sitting down, talking to actual voters. Retail politics. Actually talking to real voters and saying, hey, my name is, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Will you sign my petition? And that is, in a way, your first introduction to a potential supporter right there.
Exactly correct.
So I'm going to pass the baton back to you.
Thank you. So what happened with us is I called the supervisor of elections office. You know, I've never run for office before. I'm not a political. I don't know all these things. So I say, hey, when do I need those petitions? Oh, yes, sir. It's going to be June 10th. I say, great, June 10th. Write it down in big letters, June 10th. And so we got a campaign now. Our campaign manager went there last week and said, no, it's not June 10th. It's May 10th. Sorry. So we had a plan.
Really?
Really? Yeah, trust me. So we had a plan for the last 40 days, a big plan, you know, a big biblical 40-day plan. And then that was totally taken out from under us. We got actually 10 days left. So we rallied the folks. We said, listen, we got a lot of supporters, a lot of energy in this campaign. I called everybody. I said, this is what we need to do. We need to get out there. We need to get these petitions. Tell me who wants to meet me. I'll get on the phone. I'll go over and drive over there and meet them. And then I'm going to go to every single event. It was so crazy. My wife's sister has her child's first birthday, and that was this Saturday at our house. And my wife said, I need your help, you know, and all these things, and clean this and do that, the garage, everything. And I'm like, I don't have any time anymore. I just got zero time. So I'm up 3 a.m. cleaning the house. And then I went to an event that day and an event after, and then had the family time in between, made it happen. And we went from a situation where we were 800 short 10 days ago to now it takes 1,500 petitions to qualify, to be exact, 1,451. And we ended up with 1,800 petitions.
Nice.
So not only did we meet the goal, we far surpassed the goal.
And listen now, for those who don't understand, it's not just turning in a petition and they're counting it. It's you turning in the petition, making sure, and they make sure that the signatures are on there. A lot of times they make sure that the signatures match. They make sure that all the information are on there. So that is 1,800 verified. Yeah. So I'm sure that if it was 1,800 verified, that how many people actually heard your name and getting those petitions?
I think a lot of people heard our name, and you're right to the point. It's that grassroots sentiment that people are learning your name for the first time. You're casting vision. You're letting them know who you are. You're showing them your face, and it's really just a powerful thing. And I think that that's going to make the difference because now we have the tracks are greased. You know, we know a lot of people in all different parts of our community, and I'm just excited. I feel a lot of energy. You know. That was today, so I'm going to go have a little champagne with my wife, you know, and then I'll be back in bed in 5 minutes because we got to wake up at 4:30 a.m. So,
and you know what? We would be remiss if we didn't mention the job that the supervisor of election is doing,
Right.
Glenn Galzine.
Mhm.
I mean, the transparency aspect that's taking place there and the different innovative approaches that he has going on. I saw a press release last week about voter outreach
Yeah.
that he's advocating for. So Glenn Galzine is doing a great job over there.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, listen, we only have about 5 minutes left. And so, Ms. Arthur, this is your time to, talk to voters, tell them how they can help if they want to be engaged, involved in your campaign. I will say this before I turn that over to you. You have someone that I believe that's working with you that I call this person the political guru by the name of Kyle Alexander.
Yes.
Very sharp, very, very sharp, and knows politics in and out. I know it like the back of my hand. She knows it like the front of her hand, and then she can track the marks on it too. So
That good, that good.
She's good. She's good. So, but
Yeah.
tell the voters, talk to the voters about how they can help get engaged and things like that.
And let me start there with that. With Orange County, the commission is not a partisan seat.
That's right.
So this is not Democrat or Republican. Like I alluded to before, this is not about abortion or gun rights. This is about our schools, making sure that we have infrastructure for those schools and making sure that we have housing that people can afford, that people can have jobs, that they can live where they work. And so that's the issues that we're focusing on in Orange County. And you mentioned Kyle, and I'm glad you did, because her and I, we don't see eye to eye on all the political issues.
Mhm.
She comes from a different political persuasion than me,
Mhm.
but we're friends. And we're friends because we see those differences as differences, and we know the things that we agree on, and we work together. And that is my whole vision of this campaign. So I begged Kyle, I'm like, you got to help me out with this campaign because I need all the voices, because this is not about Democrats. This is not about Republicans.
That's right.
This is about Orange County residents, pure and simple. And so we're just bringing common sense back. We're not trying to fight with anybody about Tallahassee and Washington, D.C. stuff. We just believe in the residents. So that's what we're doing. We're working hard for it. I want to be the most available candidate that Orange County has ever seen, so that I'll be the most available commissioner that Orange County has ever seen. To that aim, my cell phone number is 407-305-2052. That's 407-305-2052. You can text me, call me, email me, send a pigeon, whatever you got to do, but I'll be available and I'll be there for you. I'll come out and say hi and whatnot. So that's really just what it is. We just believe in local governance. We believe in small governance, and we believe that the people need to be heard. We need a commissioner that's involved in the community. You can't just be for the people. You have to be of the people and with the people to understand their needs. And that's what we're doing. So if you'd like to know more about it or like to get involved with our campaign, you can go to voteaustinarthur.com. That's voteaustinarthur.com. We're going to do infrastructure first. We're going to have common sense, and we're going to bring back community-driven leadership.
And Brother Arthur, if they can't come out, if they can't put boots on the ground, I'm certain that there's a way that they can seed into your campaign to help out that way too. So
Thank you. So that's true. Like I say, people say money is fuel for the campaign because it's really, I tell people, and I have the marketing firm, so for me, this is big. A political campaign is really just a big marketing campaign, and you're trying to market your vision.
Yes.
You're trying to market your vision to folks. If they don't hear about your vision, they can't decide whether they like it or not.
Sure.
So we got to get the word out, and that costs money, unfortunately. It's a necessary evil of politics. So if you have it on your heart to give to our campaign after checking us out, you could go to voteaustinarthur.com and do so. Voteaustinarthur.com/donate, and you could give even $1. Really honestly does make a difference because it's buy-in. It's showing that you care, and it's showing us that there's people that are there with us, even if what they could afford is $1 or what they want to give is $1. We're grateful for that. So we appreciate any kind of support in that way.
Well, Austin, what I want to say to you is something that Greg and we extend to candidates. You came to tell your story, and you did it versus Greg and myself doing it, because sometimes people don't like it when we do it. So want to thank you for coming in and basically reaching out and engaging us to come on and let people know who Austin Arthur, and that's for District 1 Orange County Commission.
District 1 Orange County, that's the west side of the county. Everything that's south and west of Papanecoe.
So, Greg, I don't know if there's anything left. He came in and gave it us all.
Hey, listen, man, if he had reached into his pockets and pulled out some receipts, I would have believed him too. So.
Hey, and you know what? That's what it's all about too.
Yeah.
But, hey, Austin, we greatly appreciate you coming on Let's Talk Nation. Here's where candidates can come and you can tell people what you're about. And you hear it from their mouth versus Greg and I telling your story for you. So, man, you just, keep the grind on, man, because, you're hitting where the rubber hits the road, man.
Thank you.
And we appreciate it, man. So, with that, Greg, I don't know, man. This is is one of those situations where he's leaving it all on the field.
Listen, he left it all on the field, but listen, we want to say that we appreciate everyone who joined us for tonight's show. Again, we had a very special guest to talk to us about his vision, what his plans are, and running for Orange County Commission District 1. And we just want to say thank you to you. Thank you to listen, and we cannot say this enough, and people forget this sometimes. But say thank you to your family, your wife and your kids, because it is a sacrifice for them as well when you are out there getting a chance to find out what's important for the community. So thank them for us as well.
Well, thank you for saying that. And Kelly, I love you. I know you're watching. Thanks for putting up with me and believing in this for the community. Couldn't be doing it without you, honey. So I love you.
Hey, my friend, thank you very much
Hey,
for coming.
thank you guys. I like your
Appreciate
style.
it. You like our style?
All right. Oh, yeah.
Hey, tell
Definitely.
you what, Greg hears this all the time, but Greg, my brother, we've done another one in the chapter.
Yeah.
You don't have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Until next Monday on Let's Talk Nation, please join us from 7 to 8 p.m. We're going to bring it to you. See you next time.